Hello, students and scholars. My name is Ms. Pagan, and I am a remote teacher. I'm also a virtual content specialist. I am going to share with you a Google Jamboard. We will complete the first section of this lesson together. Today we are in Module 7A, Day 8, Multiplicative Comparison Word Problems, Part A. How can measurement conversion tables be helpful in solving multiplicative comparison word problems? I will show you today through the first section how we can use the 3 reads to read and understand a word problem. Then think about the word problem, solve using a conversion table, and multiplication, so that we can use measurement conversion tables in solving multiplicative comparison word problems. Let's begin. In this introduction launch page, the directions state answer the questions on the right one at a time. Read the story again before you answer a question. You should read the story at least 3 times. Let's read the story and look at the questions on or in the blue square and answer one at a time after each read. Read 1. Beth is allowed 2 hours of TV each week. Her sister is allowed 2 times as much. What is happening in the story? You may use the pen or the text box and write your response here. Think about story elements. Who is in the story? What is in the story? And what is happening? You may press pause and press play when you are ready to continue. Read 2. Beth is allowed 2 hours of TV time each week. Her sister is allowed 2 times as much. What are the quantities in the problem? Students and scholars, answer these sentence frames. I can count, or I can measure. Also think about what relationships exist. How are these numbers or measurements connected? You may use the pen tool or the text box to answer these questions. Press pause and press play when you are ready to continue. Read 3. Beth is allowed 2 hours of TV each week. Her sister is allowed 2 times as much. What are some mathematical questions you could ask about this problem? Students and scholars, write a question that you can add to this problem or ask using the information in this problem. You may use the pen tool or the text box and answer in this blue section. Press pause and press play when you are ready to continue. Let's continue to the second section of the introduction or launch. Draw. Think about the quantities and relationships. How can you represent these? Beth is allowed 2 hours of TV time each week. Her sister is allowed 2 times as much. What can you draw? You can use this graph paper or this blue section to show what you can draw. Use the pen tool or the marker, or even the shapes tool, or you may want to click and add an image from the internet. You may press pause and press play when you are ready to continue. Students and scholars, just to show you how to draw using the Google Jamboard, I am going to draw maybe a quantity or relationship that can be represented in this word problem. I'm going to select to use a tape diagram. So I'll click on the rectangle. I know that Beth is allowed 2 hours of TV time. So I'll click on one rectangle, and her sister is allowed 2 times as much. So I'll duplicate and place 1, 2 to show 2 times as much. I'll label my drawing by using the text box. Here is Beth, and here is Beth's sister. I'll also label each tape diagram with a bracket. Beth, I know, is 2 hours, and Beth's sister is an unknown. I'll use a text box. Here I have drawn to show a quantity and a relationship, Beth and her sister, and how they're connected. Let's continue to the Explore section. Beth is allowed 2 hours of TV time each week. Her sister is allowed 2 times as much. How many minutes of TV can Beth's sister watch? Now, students and scholars, there is a question that we can solve. You can show your thinking here in this blue section. We are going to use a measurement conversion table to help us solve this word problem. Also think about that this is a multiplicative word problem, so multiplication will be needed. Show your thinking in this blue section. You may press pause and press play when you are ready to continue. Let me show you how I use the conversion table to solve a multiplicative word problem. Well, in the previous slide, I used a tape diagram to represent Beth and her sister. I know that Beth is 2 hours. And I also know, or rather, Beth is allowed to watch 2 hours of TV time. And her sister is allowed 2 times as much. So there are 2 hours in each tape diagram. I also know that there's a conversion table for me, or rather to help as I solve this multiplicative word problem. In the conversion table, 1 hour is converted to 60 minutes. So I'll use the conversion table to help me solve. I see 2 hours, 2 times as much. 2 times 2 equals 4. Now I will use the conversion table. 4 hours multiplied by 60 minutes. Then I'll solve. Once I solve, students, I can write my thinking. I solved by creating a tape diagram, that was my first step. Afterwards, I multiplied two hours by 2 times. And then finally, I used the conversion table to multiply 4 hours by 60 minutes each. These are the steps that you will take to solve this problem. You will read the word problem 3 times using the 3 reads. Draw and show your thinking, and use the conversion table to help you, and finally use multiplication to solve. You will follow the sequence in another word problem and analyze two student work samples. So 2 student samples labeled A and B and compare them. Finally, students, you will have a summarized question where you will respond, better said, with your teacher, a partner, a group, or as a class. Again, this is Ms. Pagan, and I showed you or supported you to complete the introduction section by using the 3 reads, the Google Jamboard drawing tools, and how to show your thinking using the text box and also the drawing tools.